Hello fellow leggers, thank you for joining us once again. We are in a very beautiful picturesque location just outside of Reading. We are at the Mill at Sonning.
Yeah, it's a bit of a treat for us because we're at the UK's only dinner theatre to see a suspenseful, brooding thriller by the Queen of Crime herself, Agatha Christie, directed by the British booming legend, Brian Blessed. The piece is Towards Zero, and stick around to find out all of our thoughts.
Find out how many stars.
And whether it's break a leg or leg it.
Yeah, we've been invited to yet another. This is the only dinner theatre, did it say? But we have had some
dining experiences before.
Combined with theatre in Fawlty Towers and the Only Fools Christie dining experience.
We have indeed, but this one's a bit unique because included in your ticket price when you come to the Mill at Sonning is a 2-course meal.
What's not to love?
What's not to love, which is served prior to every show.
Okay.
And you get a choice of lots of different types of food.
And the menu is good.
And the menu does look good.
But more on that later.
More on that later. But as for Agatha Christie, we've seen some other Agatha Christie plays. We saw Witness for the Prosecution, which we've got a review of. Check that out up there. But you've seen The Mousetrap before.
A long time ago.
I've never seen it. It's, of course, the world's longest running play. It's now in London in its 437th year. And I can't believe I've never seen it, but hopefully in the future we'll get a chance to see it. But let's talk about Towards Zero. Now, it started off as a novel, first published in 1944 and later adapted into a play in 1956 by Gerald Verner. It tells the story of Lady Tressilian, who invites her ward for his annual visit to her home at Gull's Point. But unfortunately, he insists on inviting along his former wife and present wife. Surely a recipe for disaster.
You're just asking for trouble.
And
I mean, come on.
Even a recipe for murder. Hopefully the meal won't be murder. The recipe there.
Cool.
Now, as mentioned, Brian Blessed is helming this production.
Okay, I know him in his. I don't know him as a director in his directorial capacity.
No, but he's a star of stage and screen in himself. Maybe best known for his booming voice alongside such roles in I, Claudius, Blackadder, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and Flash Gordon, which is where I fell in love with him as a child.
Okay.
He was also the original Old Deuteronomy
in Cats.
In Cats.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, many years ago. Brian has an OBE and he's directed many Agatha Christie plays here at Sonning. As he met her as a young actor, he worked alongside her at the Nottingham Repertory Theatre, and they shared many friendly conversations about how she would have preferred her shows to be directed.
And now has he absorbed all that knowledge into his direction of these pieces?
Sharing it with us here at the Mill. So it's 2 acts, so stick around for a 30-second interval breakdown.
And as usual, to the end to find out how many stars. It's the interval.
We're dramatically
dramatic,
aren't we?
Just in front of the wheel of the mill.
It's quite sinister, actually.
It is.
But we are here for the Break-a-Leggers 30-second interval breakdown. Go. What do you think so far?
I'm actually enjoying myself. The plot is moving. There's a good element of drama. Very knowing. It's like, oh, something's gonna happen, and you're trying to work out who's gonna go, who's gonna die. I am enjoying it. How about you?
I love it because it's incredibly camp, completely British and over the top. It's almost knowingly sort of sarcastic to its own genre, and those little touches of direction, of not taking itself too seriously, are an absolute joy to watch. Looking forward.
We've come to the end of Agatha Christie's
Towards Zero.
Towards Zero.
And I think that sort of motif is reflected in the set, actually, because you've got all these clocks.
I like the
and
set.
this time motif to kind of remind you that time is counting down, and that's the point of the piece. Like, we're all moving towards 0 hour, to that one defining moment. That's something that actually changes the course of our history, our past, our present, and our future.
And it's a very knowing piece. I think he described it well in the interval breakdown. Like, it knows itself, it knows its audience.
I think that's in the direction, really.
To see something happen, and it's set up throughout, like, what is going to happen. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, me too. And it's campy and it's throwback and it's kind of kitsch is what I would call it. Sort of like you say, that those knowing nods, those dramatical ba 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 moments, those sudden twists and turns that make the audience go, oh, but this audience didn't just go, oh, they were like, oh, it was just.
I think that's what I enjoyed more about the piece as well, is the audience's reaction as well.
Completely
those
over the top.
And Agatha Christie puts in the plot and in the narrative moments, there are twists and there are turns throughout this. I thought I had it sussed.
Yeah,
and I
too.
didn't.
No, and that's the point. I don't think
That's the brilliant thing of Agatha Christie,
we
right?
We had a discussion in the interval about what do you think so far.
Who is it?
The main thing that came out amongst the group that we're in is there's just no point trying to guess.
It's Agatha Christie.
Because
Don't guess. You're going to get it wrong.
Like, it's going to throw you, and I think that is the joy, and that is what means her writing has lasted. It's really like stood the test of time.
I think we said this in Witness for the Prosecution. She knows how to lead us as an observer down a garden path, but down a garden path where we know it's not the right path and we start picking out everybody. But then what she does really cleverly is then she slowly eliminates everyone, and then you're like, but who, how, what? Yeah. And then she goes wham, bam, thank you, man, in your face.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what, and if you think how long ago this was, I think it does stand the test of time, because I missed all the period of where Poirot was big on the telly and Miss Marple was big on the telly. So all of these stories are kind of, I don't know.
They're new to you.
They're new to me, but boy are they good.
I think that leads
and I understand why she was good.
Quite neatly
why she's a legend.
To the cast, really. So George Telfer, Superintendent Battle. Now, Superintendent Battle was a Christie character that she used several times, but she gave him up for Poirot. I think Poirot became more of the focus to her writing, but let us know down below if that's not true. But the way that he played Superintendent Battle as almost a slightly bumbling, I would say, and also had this underlying threat which was quite funny as well. It was played with
pee me off.
It wasn't played for laughs,
but he had the
still
moves,
got
almost
them,
like the Sherlock Holmes moves. Sherlock Holmes was known for as well. Like he suddenly came out at one point with the moves to take down the opponent, which I thought was quite nice.
Loved his performance. Also, I would say Kate Tideman as Audrey Strange.
I liked her a lot.
The ex-wife of, there's a sort of love triangle going on in here, and she's the ex-wife, the first wife. I thought her moments of sort of quiet solitude and of questioning and confusion were portrayed really, really well. I just liked watching her subtlety. I thought it was underplayed and marvellous.
Great.
I would also mention on the complete other end of the spectrum here, not underplayed and marvellous, was Duncan Wilkins, who was camptastic in the role of Ted Latimer. He was very much the over-the-top. I questioned his sexuality quite a lot.
I think you're meant to.
Okay.
To a degree. I think there was something in the writing where maybe you were meant to.
Like gay best friend character, though.
Yeah, but potentially.
But almost Noel Coward-esque in his mannerisms and his sort of like darling. And
a bit fluid, perhaps.
And a bit fruity, to say.
Yeah, I like that.
I would also want to talk about Hildegard Neal as Lady Tressilian.
I really liked her.
The real-life wife of Brian Blessed, and a legend in her lifetime. I mean, she played opposite Charlton Heston in Antony and Cleopatra as Cleopatra in the film. She has I
wasn't aware we were in the presence of such
greatness.
Yes, but I mean she's great. Yeah. She held her own. I was literally glued to what she was doing.
Absolutely. I mean, she's played Lady Gertrude in the RSC. All of the big, massive, the Lady Macbeth. She's done them all, guys.
She was great.
I mean, she's an aging actress, and I would say if you've got the opportunity to see her before it's too late, do it, because she has got such experience. She exudes this confidence and experience, and the way she speaks those lines is just beautiful.
Inner just being.
It's embodied,
but
isn't
she
it?
had
The
real energy within her, I found. It was great. I really enjoyed her performance a lot.
I also like Rob Heaney as Neville Strange because of the journey that character went on. I wasn't sure at the start about where he was going to go. And
I thought he was a solid actor. I really enjoyed his performance.
At the beginning, I was on the fence, to be honest with you, but he came out of his shell by the end and
I liked
had
him
to show different sides of himself, which was really
from beginning to end, rather.
And Rosalind Blessed, Brian's daughter, as Mary Oldlin. Nice to not see her in a main part, so then you can't argue the nepotism part. You know,
That's
the
very
nepotism
true.
card, because she
Yes.
wasn't like featured throughout.
No.
She's not in it for large swathes of it. I mean, she's in it at the beginning and then at the end, really. But she was very confident, very great. And I could tell she's learned a lot from her father. She has that compelling, larger-than-life sort of, the way she projects and the way that she carries herself.
She's a very confident, competent actress. The way this theatre is laid out as well, it's a lovely, intimate space. I think no more than 6 rows, almost laid out in a 180-degree spiral coming
it's
out.
almost amphitheatre-esque.
Yeah, so pretty much every seat is a good seat, and they're very close, and they come out into the aisles, and she was right there, and I could see right into her eyes.
See the whites of
and
her
everything
eyes.
she was thinking and playing. I thought it was great.
You said you like Dinah England's set design, that's great.
Yeah,
I
playing with the
also
clocks.
like very subtle moments of the lighting design where everything was in darkness except for those little kind of almost, what's that word I'm looking for? Begins with a T.
Tilted, tinted,
No, you know when they
tilted.
have those moments where everything is lit except for them, and it's just a still
Isolation?
image. No.
Oh, tableau?
Tableau. Those little tableau moments of lighting, I really enjoyed.
I really like the music as well, really dramatic music to play up that campness and the
Campness.
knowing.
The ba-ba-ba,
It
the
may as well have been a dun dun dun, but it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
But it was like
but it had
of
those
that
moments.
motifs.
And also like thunder and lightning at dramatic moments as well. It's
Agatha
all
Christie
there.
knew what it was to hype up those moments.
Yeah.
I've also got to talk about the whole experience.
Yes.
Can we talk about the whole
I think
experience?
we must, because you
of
do
coming to the
get
mill?
dinner.
Now,
And
is it a requirement that every single ticket sold, do you reckon, you have to come for dinner?
it's a package.
That is the package.
That is it.
I found that to be brilliant because I think so often you just come to the theatre, you're rushing to get there, sometimes you get there 5 minutes beforehand and you're literally rushing in and then you're trying to settle into the show and you get latecomers and all sorts.
No.
This was an actual social outing experience complete
Everyone
with
had
a
had
meal.
a few wines,
They had
everyone
a
was
few-
chatting and
The staff
talkative.
are
The
great,
staff are
like
lovely,
the
so
turnover and the
helpful.
logistics of that many people in this huge, beautiful dining room with fairy lights all over the place and beautiful
Up in
chandeliers
the
coming
eaves of
down.
the old mill. It's
Yeah,
not just
it's
a trip to the
beautiful.
theatre, it's
No.
a full afternoon experience or evening
Yes,
out.
and I really enjoyed that about this. I think especially as leggers, because we're at the theatre so often.
It's nice to do something a bit different,
you
isn't
don't-
it?
Yeah, sometimes it's not an experience,
And,
and this is
sometimes
an
it'll fade
experience.
away in your memory. But I think
Yeah.
I'm going to attach this to some really great food, of which there was loads of it.
Really good
A
food
couple
as
of
well.
wines, and just this evocative atmosphere, which is just sort of ye oldie worldy yet modern and beautiful, and suits Agatha Christie down to a T, I think, because
Absolutely.
you've got that sort of those feelings of what it might have been like, and theatre popping up everywhere, which is another thing I was thinking about.
I would go so far as to say that like this is a good gift for people. Another one of
Yes.
those, you know, if you're wondering what to get people,
someone.
if you're wondering what to get family for
Yeah.
anniversaries, for birthdays, for Christmas, and you're looking for that experience.
Then the mill
I
at
think
Sonning.
this is a perfect. It's not. It's pretty central. It's an hour
It's
from
an
London.
hour or so from London, guys.
There's
It's-
hotels around. It's
Yeah.
beautiful, picturesque. We've got
We've
the,
got the river right here, look.
river right
Lovely.
here. It's got the big mill. There's so much going on here.
Yes.
I liked the experience as well as the show. And we should probably talk about Brian Blessed's
You
direction.
can't say Brian
as well.
Blessed, you've got to say Brian Blessed
himself.
Yes.
What do you think of his direction?
I just thought it
Because
was...
he's worked with Christie and he's meant bringing
Yeah.
that
I mean,
channeling.
it wasn't like a production where it was all new, like ideas and modern and
Not an
compelling.
Ivo Van
There
Hove.
wasn't, yeah, it's not an Ivo Van Hove. It wasn't projection and sudden shafts of light, and what it was very fitting, is what I would say to the text. This is someone that's clearly respects a piece of its age by the Queen of Crime herself, and has gone, I'm going to give this a vehicle which lets the text and lets her story shine. And I think that's a
Yes.
conscious decision from a director to have to step
Yeah.
back almost.
Because you have to make sure that all the plot points are clear
Yeah.
and land.
And they were.
And it's about the story and not overcomplicating it.
I wasn't
And I
lost.
thought exactly the same.
I
yeah, yeah.
understood the characters.
I think that's absolutely right. It
Yeah.
was exactly what it should have been and needed to be.
Absolutely.
And at exactly the right tone. There was no moments of staging that I thought fell
Was
out.
superfluous?
No, and I felt as if they felt comfortable in their one set. It's all set in one single location.
Yeah, box
Which
set,
is why
guys.
I guess amateur theatre also loves
Was Christie's.
Christie, and I guess it's for that exact reason. So I thought he did a really good job, personally.
Right.
Anyway, I guess you're probably wondering how many stars.
So how many stars for Towards
But before
Zero?
we get onto that, please make sure you subscribe.
Yes, please hit subscribe, give us a like if you've enjoyed this review. If you've ever been to the Mill at Sonning to see something, let us know about your experience, because it's such a different place to be. But it's nice to know you're there, because we could have these conversations in the car.
So now you're probably wondering how many stars we are going to give
finally do
Towards
this
Zero.
now?
We can finally do this.
Towards Zero at the Mill at Sonning, directed by Brian Blessed. We are going to give 4
stars this.
Yeah, just good fun, great experience. It's more than just a show, guys. It's a full afternoon out that you're going to remember for a long, long time. Perfect gift for, I would say, everybody. I could imagine mums, dads, you know, teenage. You could bring a teenager to this and have a nice meal and a memorable experience.
It's, I'd say it's a dated piece, but I think the plot and the narrative is...
It's a shame there was no diversity in the cast, though.
Yes,
Gotta mention
even
that,
for a period piece.
Yeah, there'll be no excuse. They're actors, guys. Like, you don't have to. Yes, everyone would have been white, but why do they have to be played by a white person? What's the? I don't get it.
Comment below what your
what do you
opinions
think
on
about
this?
that? About period pieces not having.
We've seen many
diversity.
period pieces.
I mean,
where
how many
they
Shakespeare's
have
have you seen,
represented.
guys? Where there's been.
I know.
On stage, but do you know, that's an anybody have a map.
That's an anybody have a map,
Yeah.
and that's something that we're very passionate about in terms of theatre. So
Yeah,
we have
such
to
a
get
shame.
that out there.
Mention
But
it.
in terms of the dated piece, no, I love the plot, I love the story, and I love the setting. I love the experience.
Great. Well, weather breaker leggers.
And that's just what I think.
That's just what I think. We'll catch you again soon.
Bye.